goes the English team. Let's walk out. It's Taylor, the wicketkeeper. Alert with him. The two umpires face the bails, meet at the middle of the wicket for a chat. Probably. And the two Sri Lankan openers, Bandula Varnapura, captain of Sri Lanka, and Siddharth Vettamuni, his opening partner, going out. Tremendous ovation. Field settling down. It's Willis, very tall. He'll bowl the first ball to be bowled in an official test in this country. The batsman, Bandula Varnapura, bowling now to 4 slips, a gully, a deep third man, a cover, a forward short leg, and a long leg. Here comes Willis to bowl the first ever ball, and it's taken on the pad by Varnapura. Varnapura waits for him. Comes in now. Bowls, and this one tucked way down, and that's the first run scored in official test cricket by Sri Lanka. Picked up by Gooch. Varnapura off the mark. The first run ever scored in official test cricket goes to Varnapura, who is in 1. Three slips. It's to cover. Gully. Third man down on the fence. As Botham goes in again. This one, he fences with it outside the off stump. Fortunate not to get a touch. It goes through to wicketkeeper Taylor. Botham. Taken over 200 wickets and scored 2,000 runs in Test cricket. Very rare feat indeed. And here he is. Bowling now once again to Varnapura, and this one way outside the off stump. Varnapura just lets it go through, and there's a wide being signalled there by umpire Herbie Felsinger. It was well outside the off stump. Varnapura just moved across and watched it go through to Taylor. So one more run to the total takes it on to 2 for no loss. A wide being bowled by Botham. 1 extra, 1 run to Varnapura. Vettamuni still to open his account, and Sri Lanka 2 for no loss in their second over. Botham. And it's Varnapura once more. Goes this one, and again way out the off stump, and I can see umpire Felsinger going out and signalling a second wide. So 2 consecutive wides from Botham. Umpire Felsinger having a lot of work to do. 2 wides in succession by Botham, 2 extras, total goes to 3 for no loss. Varnapura resting on his bat at the non-striker's end. Fletcher trotting back to his mark at gully, bowling to 4 slips in the gully now, as Willis comes in to bowl to Vettamuni. This one turned down, the fine leg. Alert is going for it. Vettamuni still to open his account. 1 more to the extras. 3 extras takes the total to 4. 4 for no loss, Sri Lanka. Siddharth Vettamuni failed to get a touch there, went off his pad for a single. Bob Willis, very tall, the tallest player on either side, 6 foot 5 inches, a mop of carroty coloured hair on top, and here he comes, very stiff arm. This one gets Varnapura on the chest, a lifting delivery coming in. Varnapura rubs it down, doesn't seem to be very too upset by that. Keeps rubbing down, he got it just above his plexus. Comes into Varnapura. This one, Varnapura tries to turn him away, goes through to wicketkeeper Taylor, no run, score remains in 4 for no loss. Botham goes in. goes to Wetamuni. This one played defensively to covers, and they're going for a sharp single to get it. 1 run, so Wetamuni off the mark now. He's in 1. Total goes to 5 for no loss.
From the scoreboard end, no ball into the gully. Fletcher picks it up. 1 more to the score. 8 on the board. 3 to Wetamuni, 1 to Varnapura, the rest from extras. So Sri Lanka this morning won the toss, elected to bat, and quite rightly so. The wicket, bare of grass, looks very hard and firm. And certainly looks full of runs. There appears to be a certain amount of moisture in it, possibly due to the very heavy watering it would have received during the last week or two whilst it was being prepared, and we have a problem with the ball after just 4 overs. Nasty delivery, that, getting it up from just short of a length. Wetamuni right behind it. Bowling from the press box end to Varnapura. Turns it away down towards fine leg. Willis getting to it now, and they get a comfortable signal. They could possibly have got 2 if they'd gone hard, but the first run was taken rather too slowly. Bob Willis. To Varnapura. Oh, a very nasty delivery, that one. Underwood at cover point. Alert on the fine leg boundary. And he's going to be out. That one getting lift off the glove into the gully. A very, very easy catch indeed for Gava. And there goes Bandula Varnapura. Off the glove. 1 for 9. Varnapura gone for 2. And Willis in replay here. There it is, lobbing away gently into the gully. Embry falling over to get out of Gava's way. And Roy Dias will no doubt be the batsman coming into your picture.
And here's Alert bowling to Wetamuni, who turns that one square on the onside as they get a quick single. And Jeff Cook moving away from that short leg position by the umpire now. That brings the double figures for Sri Lanka, 10 for 1 in the 8th over of the morning. Three slips gully, cover mid-off on the offside, mid-on. A square leg and a long leg for Alert as he moves into bowl to Roy Dias, and Dias is well over that one, pushing it on the offside with no great power, but going out towards mid-off. Siddharth Wetamuni settles down, slightly two-eyed in his stance as he waits for Bob Willis. And he swung him round, down to long leg. Alert is here as he fields and sends in a return. The batsman cross for a comfortable single. Wetamuni getting over that one quite nicely. 11 for 1. Willis to Dias. Oh, and he's gone. He's gone. Playing half-heartedly at that ball. Dias perhaps in 2 minds as to defend or to hook. And ended up doing something in between, merely guiding that ball into the hands of Jeff Cook for a relatively simple catch. Well, that was unfortunate indeed. And here's the action replay, as you can see it. There he is. Neither hook nor a dab down on the onside, and just a slight turn of the bat. And Jeff Cook grabbing the ball, having time to see it, and There's Dilip Mendes making his way to the wicket at a very critical period for his country.
Alert, once again bowling to Wethamuni. It's nice and he's caught, and oh, he's dropped. He's dropped. He cuts it straight into Botham's hands at second step, and Botham drops the catch. So, Wethamuni getting a chance, and Sri Lanka lucky not to lose their third wicket. Just 11 runs on the board. An indiscreet shot by Wethamuni, which went straight to Botham's hands, and Botham fumbled and dropped it.
Here's Willis to Mendes. Mendes pushes that one on the offside, and this time they get the single to cover as Underwood moves round, and that's Mendes' first run. And there's the wicket to the scoreboard. Tavre, Botham and Gooch, the slips, and Fletcher in the gully as he comes in. Bolton Mendes. Oh, he's put that one up in the air. It didn't quite carry to Gooch. And it's alert. Balls to Mendes, and Mendes plays that one more assuredly through the offside field. He's being chased down by Gower. They should get two for it as Gower picks it up now. Alert. Bowles, and Mendes drives this one handsomely past the bowler for four. What a delightful stroke.
To Willis. And that's four. Can't see Underwood getting to that one. Oh no, he does. Just inside the boundary line. Wethamuni is on 6 and he's looking solid. And they've got to Mendes. And there's a wide mid-off. And that must be 4. Beautiful shot. A very good ball there, right through him. The ball possibly brushing the pad, between bat and pad there, but outside the off stump. Wethamuni late on his defensive stroke, beaten there comprehensively. And he tries to hook him and he's out. Going for a hook, the ball rising harmlessly down the leg side. And Wethamuni getting a very thin edge. A very, very unfortunate way to go. Quite unnecessary shot. Here's the replay. You see it lifting down the leg side, rising too much. And maybe just taking the glove rather than the bat. Ranjan Madugala coming to the wickets, and Sri Lanka in all kinds of trouble. 29 for 3. Dilip Mendes on 16, looking very, very good indeed. Madugala with him at the wickets. Steers that into the covers and they go for a quick single. The ball going down to fine leg as Taylor couldn't get up in time. Gowers throw astray, so they get 2. And Madugala is off the mark. And the helmet removed. The short leg goes out to mid-off. Mendes' form being respected to that degree. Botham wraps him on the pad. He's out. Right in front. No doubt about that one. The ball possibly just cutting back a little off the seam. Mendes coming forward defensively. Here's the replay. Unfortunately, Madugala is blocking us there, so we can't really see what it looks like. Ranatunga coming to the wicket. The pressure on him. Mendes batted altogether for 58 minutes, faced 27 balls and hit 2 fours in his 17. leg side moving away.
Botham has taken 2 wickets for 4 runs. Willis 2 for 9. Allett 1 for 14, but then we had that catch of Vettimuni dropped by Botham, and here he is bowling to Madhugale, and he's flashed this. And another catch going to Wigging. Allett very unfortunate today, but that's 1 run to Madhugale. Takes him on to 3 as Allett turns and goes into bowl to Ranatunga. And that's Ranatunga off the mark as Underwood comes round and fields 1 run. Ranatunga scores to 37 for 4. A westerly breeze now coming up across the ground as Botham comes into bowl to Madhugale. This one tucked away in the covers. Get a single for it. So 1 more takes a total of 39 for 4. Off the bowling of Allett, which could have been disastrous for Sri Lanka. And here is Botham to Ranatunga. This one played very nicely off his pads down to backward square leg. They'll get 2 in it as it's fielded there by Allett. The batsman take 3 runs for it.
Ranatunga settles down. Umpire Francis gives the bowler 1 more look, and here comes Willis bowls, and that's played away on the offside. Onside of the wicket, it's a chase down. They've taken 1, they're turning for 2, they should get 3. Oh, it's gone for 4. As Allett turns. 4 slips in a gully. Bowls, and Ranatunga on the back foot, standing up, drives, but Underwood is there at a wideish mid-off position, saving the single. As Paul Allett turned his back on us and runs away to bowl to Arjuna Ranatunga. Short, and Ranatunga again on the back foot, driving firmly but straight to Underwood. No ball called. And that brings the half century for Sri Lanka. And the batting time is approximately 2 hours and a quarter. Bowls to the left-handed Ranatunga. And Ranatunga's throw drives magnificently on the offside of the wicket for 4.
And it's Madhugale waiting for Willis. Hits the sound to mid-off. There's nobody there. It's a long chase for Underwood. Picks it up just inside the boundary, and the batsman take 3 runs for it. So 3 more to the total, takes it on to 60 for 4. Madhugale moves on to 7. Comes into bowl past umpire Francis, bowls to Ranatunga. This one lifted there, and he could have been caught. It just dropped short of gully. And here is Willis as they're ready to continue. Ranatunga waiting for him. This one, he slashed at it and is out into extra cover. They'll get at least 3 runs in this. 3 runs as Underwood's return comes in to Taylor. So 3 more to Ranatunga, takes the total to 63. Ranatunga moving on to 21. Bowling now to 4 slips in a gully. 2 short legs, 1 in front of the wicket, 1 behind the wicket, and here's Willis to bowl to Ranatunga. And Ranatunga hooks him. A short pitch delivery and going for 4 runs. A nice looking stroke there by young Ranatunga.
Almost above the side screen. That's where we are perched. As the next delivery from Allett is short, and Madhugale gets him behind, square on the offside. It's a beautiful shot. It's being chased down by cover. He will just about catch it inside the line, which he reflects it back and runs into the hoarding at the far end as the batsman completes 3. Sirat Vettimuni was out at 29, and Dilip Mendes followed almost immediately thereafter at 34. Since then, these 2 batsmen have been consolidating the inning for Sri Lanka with some attractive batting. They've been in for nearly an hour, And they put on 37 runs, and Ranatunga goes on the back foot and crashes. That's one through the extra cover field for 4. And there the English press. Gathering momentum. Goes close to the wicket and bowls, and Ranatunga hooks him magnificently for 4.
Madugala, you can see there the concentration he's putting into this effort. He knows the burden he's bearing out there. Just the one short leg now. 2 men out in the covers. To Madugala. Ooh, he played that uppishly past the forward short leg. Cook had stood up. 1 run on the board. That's the 50 partnership. 84 for 4. 50 partnership in 71 minutes. 12 of them to Madugala. 37 to Ranatunga. What will young Ranatunga do with this next ball? Very obvious trap being set there. Probably try to blast him out with a Yorker after all that, but we'll see. He drives him through the covers. Backward of point. Runs in this. They've got 1, they've got 2. And Gala, the long chase, can't get to it. 4 more to Ranatunga.
Mid-off standing very wide. A short leg, forward short leg. And a mid-wicket. And here is Botham to bowl to Madugala. This ball driven firmly past the bowler. They're going for 1. They'll take a second. As fielded just inside the boundary by Underwood. 3 runs. Takes the total to 100. The Sri Lankan total now 100 for 4. As Botham comes in over the wicket to bowl to, and Madugala drives in firmly past the bowler, and there's a bit of misfielding there. As they get ball picked up just inside the boundary. Batsmen take 3 runs for it, and Ranatunga moves on to 44. The score 103 for 4.
Man up front, it's a little bit off and a slip. And Madugala places one off his patch. He gets it past Botham, who is after it. He may just about not catch it as the ball beats him to the boundary now. Looking down Sri Lanka's batting order, the last of the specialised batsmen. But those to follow by no means of average standard, each one capable of big scores in their own right. As Botham bowls to Ranatunga. Short again, and Ranatunga plays that one very nicely indeed, down to fine leg. It's Derek Underwood fielding down here, but the batsmen get through for 2. And the score goes up to 115, and Ranatunga to 46.
And this is a very vital session of play. Botham to Ranatunga. And he bangs that, picks that gap, doesn't quite get hold of it. But there's runs in it. They've got 1. Alert getting to it now. They've got a comfortable 2. 48 to Ranatunga, 32 to Madugala. Both of them batting quite beautifully. Madugala, of course, dropped by Embry off Alert when he was 2, I think it was. And he steers that backward of point. Willis, just a single. Through the vacant gully region. He's on 49. Full toss. And he goes for a single. That's his 50. Driven firmly to Embry at wide mid-off. Chanceless 50. England players applauding him. His 50 coming in 113 minutes. That's the duration of the partnership of 80 balls with 6 fours.
And here is Embry bowls this one, and that one beats him, and a very close call there for Ranatunga as it slips down to the long leg boundary. 4 runs, a rather lucky and streaky stroke by Ranatunga. It had Embry shouting stifled appeal. So the score moves on to 130 for 4, 1-3 North for 4, with Ranatunga moving on to 54.
Taking the score to 133. Bowled him! Bowled him! Ranatunga left that delivery, the ball pitching outside the off stump, turning very sharply, and bowled him. Well, well, what a very sad end to young Ranatunga's innings. Most unfortunate end to a very fine innings. Shouldered arms, surely making the fatal mistake, thinking Underwood would not bring the ball into him. Underwood bowling left arm leg spin, pitching just outside off stump. Ranatunga shouldered arms, didn't cover the line of the ball, didn't use his pads, and the ball hit the top of the middle stump. Well, that's the breakthrough England were looking for right through the afternoon. And that's just what Sri Lanka didn't want at this particular point in time. This pair adding 99 for the 5th wicket. Ranatunga's share 54 with 6 boundaries, made in something like 130 or so minutes. We'll get you the exact figures in a moment or two. DS De Silva has been out on the offside, extra cover and a wide mid-off. The onside very strong and tight. Backward of point, there's runs in this. They'll get at least 2. Cook from short leg going after it. Madugala gets a comfortable 2. Coming forward, angling the bat, gliding the ball down through the vacant slip and gully area. Backward of point, where there's no cover point. 135 on the board, 39 to Madugala. Drives that towards mid-on and they get a comfortable single. Alert is deep. And Willis with this very strange run-up. He pumps furiously with his right hand with the ball hidden behind his back. And he runs in a sort of semicircle, starting straight behind the umpire and then running away towards cover. And then again straightening out now and coming into the batsman. And that one is driven. That picks the gap. That should be 4. Madugala moving early into position on the back foot, driving beautifully through the covers. 44, 144 for 5. Going through the scorecard, we came down to the 4th wicket at 34, and then we had this very fine redeeming partnership between Arjuna Ranatunga and Ranjan Madugala. They put on 99 for the 5th wicket. Ranatunga share 54. Madugala now on 44, waits on Bob Willis. Most of the reserve seats in the old stands occupied. The new stand to our right, which is not in your picture, holding 3,000 seats, also more than half full as Willis bowls now. And that's a beautiful shot. That's 4 from the moment it left the bat. Backward of square like a rocket. Willis dropping short and Madugala on the back foot. Bam! 147. He goes to 48 and he's really looking good now. And what a shame that young Ranatunga got dismissed. Carelessness, really. Maybe he's inexperienced. He forgot for a moment that Derek Underwood can turn that ball. Shouldering arms to delivery outside the off stump, which took the middle. Here's Willis. Slow delivery, very clever ball indeed, but he sees that, reads it well. On the front foot, steers it down to third man for another single.
Underwood now to take up the strike from the press box end. De Silva, a very experienced batsman, plays in the Central Lancashire League in England. He is, of course, better known for his leg spinners, but he's a very useful batsman. It's made very useful scores earlier on in Sri Lanka in the run-up matches to this test match. That's a good ball from Underwood. De Silva didn't know very much about that. Underwood, the most successful English bowler, over 2,000 wickets in his career, runs in, and he's out. That's the end of De Silva. That's not a very good shot from De Silva, trying to force it away on the onside. Only resulted in his spooning a catch to mid-wicket, where Gauss followed the catch. No problems. That's Sri Lanka now in a great degree of trouble. 149 for 6 wickets. And not much batting left. Next man in is Asantha Dimel. Nice shot there from Madhugala. Off his pads. Have taken one. Turned for 2. That's picked up and returned by Jeff Cook. That's 2 runs to Madhugala. His score advances to 52.
The last wicket falling at 149. Here's Embry. And he goes down the wicket. Gets a thin edge. It's going down towards fine leg. Botham coming around on the long leg boundary. Can't get to it. And Dimel lucky there, because he went down the wicket. A well-flighted delivery from Embry, dropping short of him. Wasn't there. Got a thin edge. Very fortunately got a thin edge. So the ball beat Taylor, being wide of him down the leg side. Went down for 4. Takes the score to 170. Takes Dimel to 13. We've had just 1 hour and 5 minutes or 8 minutes play since tea. 40 runs scored in that time. And Dimel, a little bit of rush of blood there to the head, certainly trying to make up in 1 over for what he hasn't done for the last half an hour or so. And the next one taken on the pad. 181 for 6 then. Warnapura for 2. Das for no score. Vettimuni for 6. Mendes for 17. Ranatunga for 54. And De Silva for 3. The wickets falling at 9, 11, 29, 34, 133 and 149. Partnership for the 5th wicket, 99. And he's gone. Caught bat and pad by Fletcher. That time Dimel trying to hide the bat there, but Underwood's immaculate length there deceiving him. Bat and pad, simple dolly catch into silly point. Fletcher completing the catch, all too easy. 181 for 7, and Sri Lanka back in the doldrums again. 181 for 7. Dimel, a useful hand of 19, but just when he should have been really making sure of tomorrow. Here's the replay. There's the ball. Pitching, bat and pad, and Fletcher. A very simple catch. Dimel taking the bat away, but Felsinger in no doubt. So that's it. More trouble for Sri Lanka. 67 overs gone. The new ball will be due in the morning. And I do feel that they haven't got as many runs as they could have off the spinners. Certainly Embry's 14 overs have cost 42, but Underwood's 12 have cost only 14, and he's taken 3 wickets, and he's been allowed to bowl extremely well.
182 for 7. Embry again, and this one swung down to the mid-wicket region. Botham goes down there. Botham very quick in the field. We've seen some very fine fielding by Botham. Batsman get a single for it, and the total moves to 183 for 7, and Kalupirma gets off the mark on 1. And this is Madhugala once again to take strike from Embry. Embry comes in, bowls to Madhukalle, forward defensively. Taylor trots around from behind the stumps, collects. No run. And Madhukalle once again tries to push it away on the onside. Taylor comes round from behind, picks up, no run. So Sri Lanka now 183 for 7. Probably the penultimate over being bowled by Embry. Bowling to Madhukalle, who's on 64. Embry bowls. Madhukalle forward defensively. Taylor running from behind the stumps. Attempt to field it. The end of Embry's 16th over, he's given away just 1 run in that over, and his figures none for 44. And Sri Lanka 183 for 7. Madhukalle on 64, Kalaperam on 1, and Underwood making some adjustments in his field. With about 3 minutes left for play. The scoreboard clock showing about 3 minutes left for play, and this will probably be the last over. With Sri Lanka 183 for 7, losing its 7th wicket at 181. There is Underwood. Ready now to bowl. Bowling to a silly mid-off. 2 silly mid-offs. There's a forward short leg, a backward short leg. A slip as Kalaperam faces up to Underwood. Bowls, and is caught there as Kalaperam went forward. The wicket that England would love to take. Kalaperam leaving the field, caught by Cook. Caught by Jeff Cook, fielding at forward short leg, and Sri Lanka losing their 8th wicket with the score at 183. And here is the action replay as Underwood comes in, bowls. See the cluster of fielders round him. Goes forward, and there's Jeff Cook stretching his left hand out. Cook, a left-hander, takes it, rolls over, and Kalaperam is out with about a minute left for play. And with it, the day's play has come to an end with Sri Lanka on 100.
Umpire Francis standing at the scoreboard end. Embry comes into ball to Gunathilaka to drive this mid-off region. Misfielding there by Allett. Batsman take 2 runs for it. Madhukalle on 65. And this is hard and high there, and he's going to be caught. And David Gower taking the catch, a simple catch. Madhukalle having a rush of blood to his head. Played a careless stroke, and he is going caught by Gower off the bowling of Underwood, whose 5th wicket is, out for 65. And here is the action replay. The ball held back a bit, and Madhukalle not getting into it properly. Locks it in there, and David Gower moves into position and takes the simplest of catches. And the last man coming into bat is accompanied by Gunathilaka, that's Ajit De Silva, as Underwood goes into bowl to him now. Wonderful, and he hits this hard and high, and it's going to be 4 runs. Yes, 4 runs. Ajit De Silva, left-handers, lateral swing. 194 for 9. Ajit De Silva off the mark in the first ball he faces with a lusty hit for 4. Embry is still to pick up a wicket. Embry bowls now to Gunathilaka, and this one he turns him down to fine leg, and Scooch chasing it there, pick it up just inside the boundary. Batsman take 2 runs for it, and the total moves on to 196 for 9. The batsman out this morning, Ranjan Madhukalle, out for 65. Underwood with figures of 5 for 22. Bowls now to Gunathilaka. So you're pushing this in the covers. There's no one there. Going for one, they'll take a second. As it's picked up by Botham. 2 runs more, takes it over to 199. And Gunathilaka moves into double figures. He's on 10. It's Gunathilaka once again. Facing up to Underwood, and this one tucks it away again, and they go for a cheeky single as Fletcher picks up and returns to the bowler's end as Gunathilaka runs into Underwood, and that's 200 up. 200 for 9, Sri Lanka. Gunathilaka on 11. Ajit Silva on 5.
It looks like Fletcher has had enough of the tailenders toying with his spinners. And he steers that one down to third man. He may go for 4. Yes. Here's Willis. And that goes off his shoulder. Willis turns round to appeal. Nasty blow. Nasty delivery. Willis certainly steaming in this morning. And now it's Botham being reintroduced into the attack. And they have taken the new ball. And he's out. Very simple catch to... No, the umpire hasn't given him out. The umpire hasn't given him out. Going off his wrist into the gully.
It seems unusual to see numbers 10 and 11 being bowled at with such short pitch bouncers. If you notice, Mahesh Gunathilaka also got a rather nasty one from Bob Willis in the previous over, and now not only has it been a bouncer, first delivery from Botham, but it is in fact hurt Ajit Silva's left wrist, and this could have very serious consequences on his bowling and perhaps a bearing on the outcome of this match, in fact.
Botham. To De Silva. And that was a short ball. But De Silva got himself into a bit of trouble himself there, I would say. The ball not really rising much above stump height. The ball being short, De Silva thought he should go underneath it, and eventually he tried to swat it down the leg side. Unable to get a touch. Here's Botham. And he's certainly digging it in, and I think umpire Felsinger telling him something. Yes, Felsinger undoubtedly had a word with Botham about the short pitch delivery on that occasion.
Bob Willis bowls to Mahesh Gunathilaka. And he's cut him, and this should be 4 runs. Yes, right over the top of second slip's head. Botham just makes a gesture as he jumps for it. Allott can't get across. 4 more to Sri Lanka. When the last wicket fell at 190, Derek Underwood hitting against the spin and got a top edge, and the ball went up for David Gard to take a relatively simple catch from a mid-wicket position. There's Botham bowling, and he plays that one uppishly. Been a simple catch for a Selimidov had there been one. And the ball goes out to Paul Allott, fielding at mid-off. And that stroke prompts Keith Fletcher to make a field change. And John John Embury has moved into that position and still a bit off. And here comes Botham. Bowls to Ajit De Silva, and he's behind that one. And he's gone. Yes, he's caught. He's caught by John Embury, and in that same position where he played the previous ball. It was short lifting, and Ajit De Silva drawing away and then pushing his bat at it. Is caught by John Embury, and the Sri Lankan inning has come to an end. Sri Lanka all out, 219, and let's watch the action replayed. Carries well taken, low down to his right, and Sri Lanka all out for 218.
It's another lovely morning for cricket. The entire ground is bathed in sunlight as Timel moves in from the scorebox end. Played out into the covers there by Gooch. Picked up by Roy Dice. Roy Dice, who was the only Sri Lankan batsman to be out without scoring. Very unfortunate there. But he contributed to his own downfall, really. Stimel in again. That's the first run, 6 to 4. A lovely drive by Gooch off the front foot. That ball pitched a shed outside the off stump, nicely on the block hole. Gooch with that exaggerated bat lift and a lovely follow through. The ball screaming to the boundary between the gap there, into the gap between cover point Dice and mid-off Warnapura. There's a large gap there. The field is 3 slips and a gully. Cover point, a wide mid-off, mid-on, and square leg by the umpire. Timel's next delivery is Gooch on the back foot. Gently out on the onside. That's the end of Timel's over. The first over for Sri Lanka. 4 runs off it. 4 runs in 1 shot there. It's Warnapura now to take up the attack from the press box end. Sri Lanka's captain. His first delivery. A full toss. And misfielded there, allowing the batsman to go through for a quick single. To continue the attack from the scorebox end will be Asantha Timel. Somehow I feel it won't be very long before we see the introduction of spinners. Probably 5 or 6 overs from either end. But it's Timel to bowl his second over, moving in from the scorebox end, outside the off stump. But it's Timel now in. Gooch didn't quite know much about that one. He tried to leave that ball outside the off stump, came back, struck the top of his bat, through the gully position, no third man. That's 4 runs. It's Warnapura in. Cook carefully forward again, played out on the offside where Roy Dice completes the fielding. There's a slight adjustment in the field. One of the slips being taken out, that's Ranjan Madhugala, and he has been moved to short square leg just by the umpire, and Ranathunga moved to the mid-wicket position. Ajit De Silva at mid-on, as Warnapura runs in for his next delivery. Bowls turned away on the onside, picked up by Madhugala. End of Warnapura's over. That was the first maiden of the morning from Sri Lanka. Tulip Pendis at first slip. Ranjan Madhugala second, and Siddharth Wetimuni third slip. Kalaperuma in the gully. Good ball, but driven forcefully off the front foot. This could be 4 runs. Being chased there down by the scorebox, but he can't get to it. That's 4 runs. 4 runs to Gooch.
3 men in the covers. Vetimuni at square cover, Das at extra cover. Here's the next ball. Hit down to long leg. That'll be 4. Demel can't get to it. Outside the leg stump. And Cook just turning it off his toes. That's Demel there. Down on the square leg boundary. And certainly bowling leg theory at this English opening pair will not pay off. They're both very strong on the leg side. And they'll be quite happy. There's another one down the leg side. Kuntilaka doesn't collect, the ball keeping very low. And the difference in pace between the Sri Lankan opening attack and the English is so apparent that one finds it very difficult to even compare. Here's Warnapura. Gentle pace outside the leg stump. Ajit De Silva, you may notice when he comes into the picture at mid-on, having his left arm strapped after he got struck. And that one's back cut between slip and gully, going down to the third man boundary, and Vetimuni can't get it. And Warnapura straying a bit outside the leg stump and outside the off stump, being punished in this over. 8 runs coming in this over.
It's 34 now without loss, with Graham Gooch in 21, Jeff Cook in 11. We saw D.S. De Silva operating from the press box in, and it's again Asante Demel continuing from the... And he's caught! Caught there as Cook steered that straight into Lalit Kalipirma's hands. The first England wicket falling with the score at 34. Jeff Cook in his debut for England, out caught by the gully of Asante Demel for 11, and the first England wicket falling with the score at 34. And here is the action replay. Cook waiting for Demel to come in. Hold spun. Shot of length out to the Austerman, steered there straight into the waiting hands of Kalipirma at gully, who takes a good catch. So 1 wicket down now. England for 34. Batsman now Jeff Cook. Caught Kalipirma, bowled Demel for 11. And the batsman to come in for the first wicket, Chris Tabaret, permanent members of the team. Chris Tabaret still to face the first ball, and Demel now bowling to 3 slips, 2 gullies. It's Demel to Tabaret, bowls first ball, and this one lifting to Ray Tabaret at full height, dabs down to Kalipirma, one of the 2 gullies. No run. 34 for 1 England. First wicket to fall, that of Jeff Cook for 11. So the honour of taking the first wicket in official test cricket going to Asante Demel. Taking the wicket of Jeff Cook, who was making his first appearance for England, winning his test cap after some good performances here in Sri Lanka and even in India. Change the field as Ranatunga is taken across from the leg side and put into the Sidimid-off position. Demel bowls. Tabaret. The bowler goes forward, walked and bowled. The second England wicket falling. Chris Tabaret bowled second ball by Asante Demel. Tabaret playing over it, and it's been bowled for no score. So England now 34 for 2. And here is the action replay. Demel coming in over the wicket. Tabaret waits for him. goes for it, plays over it, and is bowled. Pity that's Gooch covering him up. And Demel now taken 2 wickets for 15 runs.
And here he is, De Silva bowling, and that one goes outside his bat, as in fact it's the one that spun the other way, the googly, and it's a good ball there from De Silva. Gar playing for the leg break, beaten, and very lucky not to have touched it. De Silva using all his experience and guile as he comes in now, tossing the ball from hand to hand, turns, moves in. Flight in again, and Gar pushing it on the onside of the wicket, back to the bowler, and that's the end of a good over from De Silva. Timel, a fine all-rounder, a very useful batsman, an extremely safe fielder, and a great-hearted bowler as he comes now running towards us. Bowling to Gooch, and Gooch attempts to play it off. Is it given out? LBW. He's been given out. LBW. And Gooch waiting at the wicket, and then turns round, walks away very slowly indeed. Asanta Demel. Let's watch the action replay. Bowling a full pitch into Gooch's pads as he attempts to play it through mid-wicket. He misses the ball. It hits him on his rear leg. And there's Demel going up in jubilant. And umpire Francis has no hesitation in giving Gooch out LBW. And there you see Gooch waiting even after the decision was given. And he walks back very, very slowly indeed to the pavilion. And England have lost their 3rd wicket for 40, and Demel has taken all 3 wickets. The man coming into the picture is the England captain, Keith Fletcher. And here he is, racing in from the scoreboard end and bowling to Fletcher, and Fletcher places one off his toes. A very nice stroke. That'll be 4 runs. Ranatunga gives up the chase as the ball goes down into the Nestor molded hoarding just on the left of the smaller scoreboard, and that takes the England total up to 44 for 3, and Fletcher is off the mark with 4. So we've had an morning of very exciting cricket. Sri Lanka starting at 183, force 8, losing Madhugalda fairly early, and then that lion-hearted last wicket stand of 28 runs between Ajit De Silva and Mahesh Tilaka. England making a comfortable start and then losing 3 wickets in the last 6 runs. And here's Demel bowling a bouncer to Fletcher, who goes underneath it. There's no danger whatsoever. And Mahesh Tilaka collects behind the stumps. Demel bowling like a man, greatly inspired, and bowling very well indeed. He started somewhat indifferently, allowing a lot of his deliveries to go by unplayed by the batsman. And just as we were talking about it, he suddenly struck a line, and since then he's bowled magnificently. Here he is. Also Fletcher, and Fletcher! Oh, he's dropped him! He's dropped him! De Silva got a hand to that ball, and as he fell over, the impact probably knocked it out. And let's watch the action replay. An unfortunate miss indeed. As Fletcher just about... Yes, a definite chance. Very unfortunately, De Silva couldn't hold on to it. And Fletcher lives to play another inning. And this time he plays that one more correctly. De Silva fields on the end of another fine over from Asanta Demel.
De Silva not quite finding the line that he would like to. Trying to pitch the ball. Excuse me. Trying to pitch the ball into the rough created by Millicent Botham, and now of course DeMille bowling into that same rough as well. Slip, silly point, and forward short leg close to the bat. Rana Singh, the forward short leg in a helmet, on the field instead of Ranjan Madugala. The end of DS is over. 4 runs coming in that over. 53 for 3. And that bouncer wasn't all that high. Fletcher having to go down about bail high to let it go through. And DeMille certainly giving Fletcher treatment, and Fletcher indicating there that there is a certain amount of variable bounce in the wicket. Will not be able to judge that. And a good ball there, cutting sharply across the batsman, starting about middle stump and moving away down the leg side. Fletcher moving inside the line. Doesn't get a touch as it went through to Gunathilaka in the end of the maiden over. Here's DS De Silva's next delivery, and he's very fortunate indeed with that.
DeMille to Gar on 9. He plays this one nicely off his pad, square on the onside. It's a long chase down there. Has gone for 4. Gar in double figures on 13. And still we have that cordon of slip fielders, 3 in a gully, a cover and a wide mid-off. And here's DeMille to David Gar. And he swings this one round down to this square leg boundary, and it's 6. He picked that one very well indeed and hit him out of the ground for 6. David Gar 19 and England 64 for 3. The rough into which Underwood was pitching and getting so much turn is outside the line of the right-hander's leg stump, but could be quite dangerous for the left-hander. Here comes DS De Silva and bowls to Fletcher, and Fletcher plays this one square on the onside. DeMille is round to field. They get 1. 65 for 3, and Fletcher moves up to 9. The 18th over being bowled. David Gar in strike. And he on drives this one. There's 1 run in it. It's Banapura's throw. Hits DS De Silva on the bottom of his leg, having hit the stumps first. DeMille turns and comes in to bowl to Gar. Short, and Gar on the back foot hits him through the offside field. Four runs. As he comes in and bowls, Cover gets behind that one, pushes on the offside, and they go through for a single, which takes him up to 24. Comes in. Bowles, and Fletcher plays this one off his pads, just turning it round the corner, down to Asantha DeMille, and they get 2. 74 for 3, Sri Lanka. That's England in reply to Sri Lanka's score of 218. Fletcher on 12, waits for the next delivery from De Silva. It's outside the off stump, he's not interested. Guruthalaka collects. As he parted the covered accommodation.
Kaloperama bowling from the scorebox end to the left-handed Gaur. Has him in a bit of trouble there. Watching that ball on the back foot, playing it gently out on the offside. Gaur has not been very comfortable against spinners. Early in his career, he was helped by Ray Illingworth and Jackie Birkinshaw of Leicestershire to get over his early troubles. As he faces the next delivery from Kaloperama, driving that on the offside, they get one run there. Misfielding there by Ajit De Silva, giving the batsman 2 runs. That was not a good ball, short outside the off stump, and Fletcher had plenty of time to get on his back foot. De Silva in again. Turn round the corner, there's an easy single there for Fletcher. England 79 for 3. The crowd not very many more than yesterday, perhaps around the 11,000 mark. Plenty of seats still available, but of course, being a working day, one has to expect some empty seats. So next ball is turned away on the onside. This runs in this for Fletcher. Taken 1, the turn for the second. They'll be looking for 3 here, but decide against it. As Wetimune was quickly onto the ball. 2 runs to Fletcher. Takes the England captain on to 17. Kaloperama right arm off spin, bowling over the wicket from the scorebox end. That was a very optimistic shout from Kaloperama. I know Fletcher didn't offer a shot, but that was way outside the off stump.
As Kaloperama's next delivery. And he beats him going past the outside edge of Fletcher's bat. Lucky not to have touched it. And that ball not turning as much as the England skipper expected it to. And Guruthalaka collects. Kaloperama to Fletcher. Fletcher drives on the onside of the wicket. Kaloperama fields well. There's a slip and a very short square leg. 2 men in catching position as Kaloperama's next delivery to Fletcher. Fletcher back cuts uppishly, but effectively down to 3rd man for 4.
And it will be Ajit De Silva bowling from the press box end. Bowls to Fletcher, who turns away down to fine leg. Ajit De Silva once again to Fletcher. Well-flighted delivery again. Fletcher watching the ball right up to his bat. Tucks it away gently on the offside. Again, Mahesh Guruthalaka running from behind the stumps. Fields. No run. 94 for 3. Ajit De Silva moves in to bowl to Fletcher. Short of length, and Fletcher steers this down, covers. They'll chase for Ranathnunga. They go for 1, they'll take a second as Ranathnunga picks up and returns. 2 more the total, takes it on to 96 for 3. Batsman out, Gooch for 22, Cook for 11, and Tavare without scoring. And it's once again Kaloperama to bowl to Gaur. Gaur on the back foot, back cuts him very nicely. There's Ranathnunga having a long chase there. It might pick it up just inside the boundary. Yes, it does. But the batsmen get 3 runs for it. So total moving on to 99 for 3. As Gaur moves on to 31. 99. Fletcher and Gaur. Fletcher lucky to have been dropped when he was 4. Here's Kaloperama, first runner. Pushed away past runner Singer, who can't get hold of it. They get a single for it. Roy Dias is after it at the turn for the second. So 2 runs. A good return from Dias. 2 runs to the total. Takes the score on to 101. Fletcher moves on to 32. The 100 coming up in 135 minutes of batting time in the 33rd over.
De Silva again. Well flighted delivery. Played defensively by Fletcher. The end of the over. Just the 1 run coming in that over. De Silva's figures now 4 overs, none for 6. Kaluperuma. And he drives that one again. And Ranatunga running across Dias. Doesn't field. Causes Dias to lose sight of the ball for that second. Misfields as a result. And they get a single. 103 for 3, 33 to Gower, 32 to Fletcher. Field changing over for the right-handed batsman. Mendes occupying slip while Kaluperuma bowls. Kaluperuma occupying slip when anybody else bowls. Here he is running towards us. And that one kept low, but he plays it very well indeed, picking the gap between cover and extra cover. That'll be 4. De Silva can't get to it.
And here's Fletcher settling down to face up to Ajit De Silva, who's given away 7 runs in his 5 overs so far, bowling to a slipper guy, silly mid off, a back foot short leg. Right to the ball, and he beats him off the wicket there. Rather vain appeal, which umpire Felsinger doesn't respond to. Score remains 114 for 3. Fletcher dropped at 4, now on 39. This ball again flighted, and there is an appeal for a catch behind the stumps. De Silva attempting to hit that rough there, caused by Willis and Botham. It's Fletcher on 39. Waits for play forward, and there's Mahesh Gunathilaka very active behind the stumps, coming around and picking up. The score remains 114 for 3. These batsmen adding 74 runs for this 4th wicket. Ajit De Silva again to Fletcher, and he sweeps this round, gets it on the pad. Runner Singer at back foot short leg, picks up, prevents any runs being scored. And once again Ajit De Silva from the press box end, southern end of the ground, flights this one, and played firm covers by Fletcher. 2 runs for it. And the score moves on to 116 for 3. Fletcher moving on to 41 as he faces up now to Ajit De Silva. This one full toss sent down to mid-off. Batsman go through for an easy single as Ranatunga fields. 1 more to total, takes it on to 117 for 3. Fletcher on 42. Waits once again for De Silva to come into bowl to him. This one slightly over pitch, turned away off his toes, down to Ranatunga, fielding at long leg. Bats would go for an easy single. The total goes on to 118 for 3, and Fletcher moves on to 42. Press box full of foreign and local correspondents, very busy reporting for their respective presses. And there is the President of Sri Lanka Board of Control for Cricket, Honorable Gamini Dissanayake, also very interested in that ball. Turned away by Fletcher, and turned it straight into Sinatra from his hands. That's wonderful. It's wonderful, his hands. And the fourth wicket has fallen. That of Keith Fletcher, caught by Badnapura at square leg off the bowling of Ajit Silva. And England now 120 for 4. And Fletcher going back, caught Badnapura, bowled Ajit Silva for 45, and England 120 for 4. Coming out to bat is Leslie Fletcher with the very popular player Ian Botham, the Mercury all-rounder who has done so much both with bat and ball for England.
And Ajit turns, comes in and bowls to Botham, and Botham drives handsomely through extra cover for 4. Ball was overpitched, and this very strong man just leading into that ball did 4 runs from the time it left the bat. 124, and that opens Botham's account. He's on 4, David Carr 37. The 42nd over of England's innings being bowled, and Ajit's next delivery flighted, and Botham's lofted him over mid-wicket for 4 more. Forward defensively, Mahesh Tilaka coming a long way down the wicket to pick that ball up and hands it to Ajit Silva. A very active, alert and energetic keeper, Mahesh Tilaka. Ajit Silva bowls, and Botham plays that one to mid-wicket, and there's no run. Cover drives, and Ranathuka can't stop it. It goes past his outstretched right hand down to third man. They'll get 2 easily as Ranathuka's throw comes in into the wicket-keeper's gloves. A good throw, and that's 130 for England, 130 for 4. Coincidentally, Sri Lanka were also 130 for 4.
Mr. Silva round the wicket to the left-hander. Comes down the wicket, drives firmly. So much under does his own fielding. Slip. Lalit Kalaparama, hands on hips. Gunathilaka crouching behind the stumps. De Silva bowling. Wraps him on the pad. Ball spins away into slip. And 15 minutes play since tea for just 4 runs. The one beautiful shot through the onside by Kava. Off DS. Goes back and tries to cut. Very lucky not to get a touch. Outside the off stump.
134 for 4. The last 2 recognized batsmen in England side at the wicket. Botham waits for Silva, and this one overpitched on the leg side and gets on the pad. It runs down to backward square leg. Timmer come in, and Botham leaning on his back, completely unconcerned, proud, not too happy with Botham's performance so far. Once again, DS de Silva from the scoreboard end. And Gower sweeps this round to find backward square leg. Fielded there by Wetamuni just inside the boundary line. 2 runs for it. Takes the total to 136 for 4. Gower moves on to 45. Two runs coming after 6 overs, and here's DS de Silva once again to Gower, who swings his way down to square leg. Once again, it's Wetamuni there as they get a single for it. 137 for 4. His 18th over. Going to take a none for 28. And on the back foot, and this one is cracked very hard, and it's 4 runs. Botham waits for DS De Silva to come in, bowls. Botham digs this one out. They go through for a cheeky single, but get it quite comfortably as Tulip Mendes comes in and fields. One more to score, takes it out to 144 for 4, and Botham goes on to 13.
28 minutes left.
DS De Silva waits as cover settles down. This one flighted and steered down in the vacant gully region. There's a long chase for Ranatunga. The batsmen get one. They'll turn for a second as Ranatunga picks it up just inside, and they go through for 3 runs. 3 runs to Gower. That's his 50. He is in 51. I'll give the details of his innings in a moment. 51 to Gower. And the score now 147 for 4.
That's a nice shot from Gower, off his hips. This could be 4. Yes, it's 4 runs to the mid-wicket fence. That was a typical David Gower shot. There was no force in it at all. He merely leant into that ball and caressed it to the boundary. 4 runs. Takes Gower on to 55. Botham on 13, and the total 151 for 4. Full toss. Gower moving up to that ball, takes it on the full and hits it hard into the extra cover region where DS De Silva completes the fielding. And as you come back, we have to announce the fall of Ian Botham's wicket. Ian Botham received a shot. Let's look at the replay. That's DeMel's delivery. Short, Botham on the back foot, trying to turn that away to the onside, getting a thick inside edge onto his stumps, and he's bowled. Bowled by DeMel. That's the prize wicket for Sri Lanka. That's the breakthrough Sri Lanka needed in this session of play. 151 for 5. And the tail is now exposed. The new batsman. Next delivery from DeMel. Played carefully out on the onside. Bob Taylor, the England wicketkeeper.
And here's DeMel, 2 slips gully, and then 2 men round the corner on the onside, and he bowls to Taylor, who plays this one very nicely indeed, square to the crease, and it's a long chase for Siddharth Vetimuni. As he catches it now, the batsman will get 3 comfortably. And when he tried to revert to normal, it was perhaps too late for him. And here's DeMel bowling, and Gower plays that one out with the outside edge of his bat between gully and cover. Arjun Ranatunga gives up the chase as the ball goes into the boundary now for 4. This is interesting cricket here, with the pressure really being put on Bob Taylor. 3 men in front, 3 men in close catching position on the off, and an equal number on the onside of the wicket. And his next delivery to Bob Taylor, he sweeps, and it's 4. 165 for 5 at the end of Ajit De Silva's over. DeMel turns to the top of his run, gathers momentum, comes in, bowls to Gower, and Gower places one off his toes. That's 4 runs between square leg and long leg. 177 for 5. Here comes DeMel, bowls to Gower, and Gower plays again off his pads, down to almost the same position, but with little less power, and that's flicked back, and it's a long return coming in as the batsmen complete 3. Ajit De Silva retrieving the ball, and David Gower now goes up to 70, and England to 174 for 5.
As DS De Silva bowling over the wicket, bowls to Gower. This one well outside the leg stump, and Gower sweeps it round to the fine leg boundary for 4 runs. A bad ball from DS De Silva, loose delivery, which smacked away down to fine leg for 4 runs by Gower. The score goes up to 186 and Gabba goes on to 79. The scoreboard clock showing 5 minutes past 5 o'clock, so this probably is the last over of the day. Tomorrow, of course, is a rest day, and play resumes on Saturday at 10:30. This ball played down again to mid-on, down to Dulik Mendes. The end of Ajit De Silva's over. The end of play for the second day of this 5-day test. England closing on 108. Batted so excellently on the second day, day before yesterday. It's Thursday. And this Asant Demel. And Swan sent down through the gap between gully and third slip for 4 runs. So the first runs of the morning coming to Gabba, moves on to 83, and the total moving on to 190 for 5. Taylor still on 8 as Ajit De Silva bowls to him again. Play defensively forward. Once again, Ajit De Silva to Taylor. There's an appeal. And members of the foreign press.
Ajit would exploit this spot.
Here's his first ball then. And that'll be 4. Driven straight down the ground. Over pitch delivery. Taylor using his feet very nicely. Hitting it straight back past the offside of the wicket. And that's the 200. And Taylor's first runs this morning. Very convincing stroke indeed. David Gower in strike. One slip, fairly deep. Lalit Kalupirunga. Outside the off stump. You can see Gower using his pads to advantage there. Ball possibly missing leg stump by quite a bit. Angled into the left-handed batsman. On the line in the middle stump there. De Silva. He's out. He's got it. Caught behind. Gunatilaka very nearly missed that. You could see that he was juggling with the ball, and that is the break Sri Lanka wanted. They really wanted a break, and the man they wanted was Gower, and there he is, caught behind on the back foot, edging a ball from DS De Silva. Probably the googly or the one going straight through. We'll just hope that we can have a replay on that so that you can have another look at it. So 200 for 6 and the partnership of 49, and possibly I put the evil eye on it by talking about the forthcoming 50. Mevan?
Yes, that's certainly the wicket Sri Lanka was after. David Gower, who made 85 runs.
Just a moment, Mevan. Here's this replay. Let's take a look at it. Now the ball coming into the batsman, a leg spinner.
And the new batsman is
John Embry. Well, now the field quite aggressive. 4 men round the bat. De Silva bows to Taylor. Outside the leg stump. Off the pad to Varnapura at backward short leg. De Silva quite enthusiastic with the appeal, but very optimistic indeed. Slip, silly point and 2 short legs round the bat. That's short, far too short, and Taylor punishes it. It'll be 4. Das can't get it.
As you see, the very informative scoreboard at the P. Saravanamutu Stadium. 205 for 6. And DS De Silva's first delivery is on the front foot, takes it on the pad, and the ball bouncing out to Kalupirunga at slip. Ranasinghe at silly point. Roy Dias at cover and Asanta Demel at wide-ish mid-off, completing the offside field as the next delivery from DS De Silva brings Taylor forward again, taking it on the pad. Anu Ranasinghe moves round to silly mid-off. And here he is, bowling to Taylor, who plays this one backward of square, down to Siddharth Bethamuni on the backward square leg boundary, and they get a single.
Ajit Silva bowls to Embry. Embry watches it carefully, gets onto the bat. Down the line, the wicket, fielded by Anurana Singha. 207 for 6. Embry is still to open his account. Ajit Silva from the press box end. This one well flighted, the attempts to sweep. There is an appeal for LBW, and umpire Felsen has ruled him out. Embry showing a certain amount of surprise, and the sudden England wicket has fallen now with score at 207. Embry out without scoring. LBW to Ajit Silva, whose second wicket it is. And Mevan, your comments.
Yes, Embry showed surprise because he had stretched fully and swept it to square leg and missed the line of flight. However, it was a straight delivery by Ajit De Silva, bowling round the wicket, and the umpire Felsinger thought that the ball would get on the... And here's the replay. There's the stroke. Embry playing a stroke right across the line of flight.
New batsman coming in at the fall of the 7th wicket, Paul Allett. That was the end of Ajit De Silva's over, and his figures 2 for 45 off 28 overs. It's going to be DS De Silva now to bowl to Bob Taylor, who swings this round back with a square leg and get 4 runs for it. 7 runs short of the Sri Lankan total of 218.
It is DS De Silva bowling from the scoreboard end. He brings Allett on the front foot. He gets it through the infield, but not far down enough to give him time for a single. Madhugala very quick to retrieve the ball. And there's no run. 24 valuable runs to Taylor, 3 to Allett. As DS Silva bowls, Allett comes forward defensively, pushing on the offside. Rana Singh runs across from his silly point position and fields. The next delivery, flighted, is on the front foot. It must have been the googly going off the inside edge to Madhugala, standing square to the crease, very close in on the onside of the wicket. England adding 30 runs in the hour, 216 for 7, having also lost 2 wickets. DS Silva's next ball, short, and he plays it up in the air, and he's caught him at the second attempt. Allett going for the cut, not quite getting over the ball, getting a top edge, and there was Lalit Kaluperuma diving for the catch, not holding on to it, putting it up, and he gripped it at the second attempt as we watch the action replay here. There it is, the top edge, an outstretched right hand. There you see it going up, rebounding, and Kaluperuma picking himself up very quickly indeed, holds it again one-handed at the second attempt. A good catch, a valuable wicket, and England are now 8 for 216. And there's the man who's done all the damage in England's, Sri Lanka's first innings, Derek Underwood. And I'm sure the Sri Lankan bowlers will be waiting for an opportunity to get their own back on him. He's taking guard. Here's the first ball from DS De Silva to him, and there's an appeal for a catch, and he's gone. Derek Underwood is gone, and England are 9 for 216. So Sri Lanka still maintaining a lead of 2 runs. And here's the action replay. There he's coming on the front foot, the outside edge of the bat, and into gully. And now it's Bob Willis coming in to see whether he can give England a first innings lead. But the striker is going to be Bob Taylor, because that was the end of DS De Silva's over. As here's Ajit De Silva bowling to Taylor. He beats him outside the off stump. an appeal more as a gesture than with any conviction. Umpire Felsinger not interested. 216 for 9. And here's Roger De Silva bowls the next ball, and this is slightly over pitched. Taylor drives and he gets it past cover. They get two, they're turning for the third as Mendes gets to it now, and they'll get their third run. Mendes' throw, not a good one, coming down to the bowling end, and that takes England in front of Sri Lanka's first innings score by 1 run, 219 for 9. Here's De Silva on his hat-trick. Bowls, and this is down the leg side. Taylor gets inside the line of it and allows it to go through. The scales evenly balanced now in this match as D.S. Silva's next delivery. Taylor goes for the straight drive and times it well. As it hits the railings at the far end, it's 4 more to him. D.S. Silva bowls, and on the back foot he punches it on the offside. They get a sharp single. There may be a run out here, and he's on, yes! He's run out. Willis a little late. And that marks the end of England's innings, giving them a lead of 5 runs. And the Sri Lankan players and bowlers must be congratulated on their performance this morning. In just 70 minutes, they have restricted England's scoring to 37 runs and taken 5 wickets. And here's the action replay on that run out. You see Dias will now come into the picture as he picks up the ball. And there we see that very athletic fielder loosening up for the throw. It's coming hard in. Right into the wicketkeeper's gloves, and Mahesh Gunathilaka whipping the bails off with Willis long way from the crease.
And the England team coming out to the field with a lead of just 5 runs in the first innings, and 40 minutes of play left for lunch. England losing their last 5 wickets this morning for the addition of just 37 runs, as Willis comes in to bowl the first ball of the second innings, bowling from the scoreboard end, bowls to Warnapura. This one a lifting delivery, and it's Ian Botham opening the attack from the press box end, and Siddharth Rattamuni turns the first ball down to long leg, where it's fielded by Willis. The batsman get off, that's Rattamuni getting off the mark on 1 run, and that's 1 run to the Sri Lankan total.
That was a good ball. Rattamuni seemed to be in 2 minds about how to play that, possibly expecting more lift than the ball achieved. And we seem to be having a problem with the ball after just 3 overs. And Botham, a very straight run up, easy run in. Cook picks up. Warnapura certainly in this innings looking far more confident, getting right behind the line of the ball, not flashing outside the off stump as he has done in the first innings of this game and in the one-day international, where he looked to be completely out of touch, looking very much more himself at the moment. And just as I said it, that one short and wide outside the off stump. And just as I said it, Warnapura not even bothering to move his feet, getting nowhere near the line of the ball, has a bang at it. Here's Botham. Slow ball. And this time he comes on the front foot and drives. That'll be 4. Botham again. This time on the offside again, through mid-off. Gawa having a long chase, he should catch it. They should make 3, and they do comfortably. Here's his return to Bob Taylor. Willis comes into bowl. Varnapura, seeing that short lifting delivery, just sways back, allows it to go through to Taylor in no difficulty whatsoever. Bob Willis steaming in. And that goes down towards third man. That'll be 4. An awkward bounce there for Embry. Good delivery from Willis, short and lifting. As Willis delivers, a flurry of dust going up from that spot. Watch now. There's the dust.
Here's the first delivery from Underwood. There's Underwood's next delivery. The ball's going up in the air. Off the pad, no danger of any chance there. And that's Willis running towards us. He bowls to Varnapura. He's behind that one and gets it down through the slips. There's Embry after it. No ball has already been called, but they get 2. As Underwood bowls to Wetamuni. And Wetamuni sweeps. And that's 4. A nice stroke. Very effective indeed. And takes Wetamuni up to 5. Varnapura. Seems to be having the same problem that Keith Fletcher did around this time on the second day. Wetamuni is not quite ready. Umpire Francis holding out his hand. Now he is. Settles over his bat and waits for Underwood. And he plays this one off an inside edge behind square. They get a comfortable single. And as Embry retrieves the ball, the Sri Lankan score goes up to 20 without loss.
Lunchtime at the P. Sarvanamuthu Stadium. The scoreboard reading England 223 in reply to the Sri Lanka first innings total of 218, giving them a 5-run lead. But Sri Lanka have already wiped out that deficit of 5 runs with 20 for the loss of no wickets at the luncheon break. And as good a time as any to introduce our personality in the guest spot in tonight's Bristol Sports Newsreel. No less a personality than the former national captain Michael Tissera, who has been one of our more successful captains. Mike, the morning, without any measure of doubt, belonged to the Sri Lankan spinners.
That's right, laddie. I think D.S. De Silva in particular has bowled very well indeed. He's bowled on the sticks. He's made the batsmen play regularly. And as you can see, he's been rewarded with 3 wickets. I didn't think Ajit De Silva bowled all that well. He's tended to go too much down the leg side. He couldn't get his line and length sorted out all morning. And I think Sri Lanka were lucky that he proved as economical as he did, because I'm sure if there were some better batsmen around, perhaps Gower, he would have been pretty expensive in those few overs.
Well, Gower's dismissal was a clear illustration of the struggle the England batsmen had against the Sri Lanka spin attack, Michael.
That's right. They were obviously going to get Gower this morning. That must have been their idea, and they were very lucky indeed that they got him early. It was a good ball from D.S. De Silva, probably hurried off the pitch and took Gower's outside edge, and Gunatilaka fumbled at the start, but anyway held on to the catch, and that was a great breakthrough for Sri Lanka.
Mike, the Sri Lanka spinners were expected to present all the difficulties to England on this tour, but I would say that it was only in this morning session today that the Sri Lanka spinners have really come off and bowled very well.
That's right, laddie. As I said yesterday over the radio, the irony of it was that Sri Lanka has been depending so much on her spinners, but it's the pace bowlers who've got all the wickets. Ravi Ratnayaka bowled well in Kandy. He got 5 wickets there. Dimel bowled very well indeed in the 2 one-day games. In fact, I think he ended up as the best bowler on both occasions. And then we saw the spell from him yesterday when I thought he bowled good direction, good line, and he really deserved the success he had.
Well, Mike, how do you feel about the way the Sri Lankan openers have fared up to now? They've been at the crease for something like 40 minutes. Have you been happy with the way they've been coping with the England attack?
Yes, they've batted far better today than they did on the first day. Of course, the England pace bowlers are not getting the lift and the movement that they got on the first morning when the wicket was slightly damp. They've weathered the storm all right, and it's been a difficult 50 minutes, but they've come through it, and they've put Sri Lanka on a fairly good base for a score. For a fairly big score, which they must be hoping to set England anything over 200 runs on the last day, and with the wicket turning, that might be a bit of a job to get.
Well, yes, talking about a turning wicket, I should imagine that Derek Underwood is certainly going to be the bogeyman for Sri Lanka, if the morning session was any indication.
That's right, laddie. He's bowling over the wicket from the press box end. At the other end, there are some footmarks just outside the leg stump on a fairly good length, and Underwood is obviously going to try and make use of those. He did in the first innings. As you know, he's a very accurate bowler indeed. He doesn't normally turn the ball very much, but when he does get some assistance from the wicket, he becomes a very difficult proposition, and of course he bowls a little quicker than most left armers, so it's difficult to use your feet to him. The Sri Lanka batsmen will have to use all their powers of concentration and technique to keep him away this afternoon.
Well, Mike, the Sri Lanka team has certainly overcome their first hurdle of preventing Keith Fletcher's side from getting the 100 runs or so lead that he was anticipating. How do you think we should go from now? What do you think should be the approach by the Sri Lankan batsmen?
Well, there's no doubt that the Sri Lankan batsmen will have to lay a foundation of a good score to give their spinners the opportunity to attack on the last day, to bowl at the stumps and try and get England out. A good start is very essential. They've got to concentrate. They've got the ability to do so, but on and off, not being used to playing 5-day cricket, they tend to lose concentration, play a rash stroke, but they'll have to put all that away and really concentrate on the job this afternoon, because I'm sure Underwood and Embury are going to give them a lot of problems from now till the close of play.
Mike, could you for a moment put yourself in the boots of Bandula Varnapura? What sort of result would you be looking for? A draw or a win? Taking into consideration the fact that no other team other than Australia have won on a test debut.
I don't think there's any question of a draw in this game, laddie. As it's set up at the moment, one side's just got to win. And if I was Varnapura, well, I'll be expecting to score 250, anything over 250, and set England 225, 230 to get, and hope that the spinners on the 4th and 5th day can turn the ball sufficiently to get them out. As you know, the England batsmen, with the exception of possibly Gower, Gooch and Botham, are not in the same class as the batsmen we've known before, the Mays, the Cowdreys, the Graveneys and the Dexters, and I think Sri Lanka has got a very good chance in this match the way it's poised at the moment.
And finally, Mike, a brief look back on the tour, particularly those two one-day games which ended so beautifully. Two fantastic games from the point of view of the spectators, and certainly a good thing for Sri Lanka, that win against England in the second one-day international.
Yes, laddie, we've been good at one-day cricket for a few years now. I think we've proved that we've beaten India in the World Cup. We've beaten the Australians when they were here. We've beaten the West Indies in a one-day game at the Mauritius Stadium some time ago. And with England's performance in India against the Indians in the one-day series, it didn't surprise me when we beat them in one of the games. And the other game was a very close one indeed. In fact, from a spectator's point of view, I don't think they could have asked for any better. What gives me great encouragement now is to see our boys play better in the longer game, and it'll be interesting to see how they fare in the next 2 days. If they can come through this, it'll be a tremendous performance against a professional team who've played together for a long time, who play far more cricket than they do, and it'll certainly be a great fillip to the Sri Lanka cricketers.
What's it that's impressed you most about the Sri Lankan performance up to now, Mike, on this tour taken as a whole?
I think it's the refreshing approach of their batsmen. They are not afraid to play their shots. Arjuna Ranatunga has proved a really good player. He's a gifted player. He was with the schoolboy side in England last year. He scored a lot of runs on that tour, and one particular innings against Sussex second 11 when he got 143. It was a really good knock, and I had every hope that he would soon be in the Sri Lanka side. I'm very glad to say that he hasn't disappointed me. He's really a player for the future. Vetamuni is batting well. He's very correct. He's a good player. He's come on quite a lot. And so has Madugala. I've been very impressed with the way Madugala batted in the first innings. He's correct. He chooses the right ball to hit. And Sri Lanka certainly have been very fortunate indeed at the moment to have three players, Ranatunga, Vetamuni and Madugala, whose average age must be around 22 years. I think that's a lovely base to work with at the moment.
Well, it's good to be back at the SRI Stadium. You haven't missed very much. Bob Willis is still bowling the first over after lunch, although we've had 6 minutes of so-called playing time. 4 of those minutes went to change the ball. And we haven't seen a run scored since lunch, as you can see from the... He wants Underwood to try and exploit that rough patch created by Bob Willis and Botham and then Dimel. Very much in the danger area of play. Right in line with, or just outside the leg stump. Here's his first ball after lunch. Warnapura forward, taking it on the pad.
Underwood once again from the press box end. Balls to Warnapura, who's on 13. This one driven past Cook. Down to Emery at mid-wicket, and they go for a very cheeky single. There's Willis running in now to bowl to Warnapura. Digs this one in, gets Warnapura standing up straight, tries to get on top of it, and here is Willis. And this one, he steers it in the air, but Gower grasps it but doesn't get hold of it, as Emery chasing it, picks it up just inside the boundary, and they've gone 3 runs, and it's going to be Willis once again. This time he bowls to Vetamuni. This one, and he's bowled him as Vetamuni went forward to it, the ball coming into the batsman, and the first Sri Lankan wicket has been taken by Willis. 30 for 1.
And let's watch the replay before I describe that. There's Willis coming in. Up to the umpire. There he goes. Ball beats Vetamuni, gets the off stump, and wicketkeeper Taylor takes a diving catch off the stumps.
Coming in for the first wicket is Roy Dice, and he will face up to Willis. And Underwood will continue from the press box end. A lot of dust being raised at the far end as Underwood goes into bowl to one and he's beaten off the wicket, and there's a loud appeal for Underwood. Very accurate, dropping that ball on that immaculate length. And this one flighted, and that's a very ungainly shot by Warnapura. He attempted to swing him round the leg side, and the ball flew into the cover region. I don't think Warnapura knew very much about what happened there. But he gets 2 runs for his trouble.
Good afternoon. It's Bob Willis bowling from the scoreboard end to the new batsman Roy Dice. And Dice swings him round down to long leg. He'll get 1 as Allett does the fielding. And Roy Dice gets off the mark. He's 1. Skipper Warnapura on 19, and Sri Lanka 34 for 1. Willis 1 for 11 from 7 overs, bowling the 15th over of Sri Lanka's innings. Turns round at the far end, runs towards us, bowling to an offside fielder, 4 slips gully, silly point and cover. And Warnapura turns that one down the leg side. We'll wait for the signal. Yes, it went from bat. So that takes the Sri Lankan skipper up to 20. And here's his next delivery. Dice is behind it, finds the gap very nicely, backward of square. There's one, there'll be two. As Alat runs round from the far long leg boundary and picks up, they're satisfied with two. Salat's return to Bob Taylor is a good one. Next forward defensively, and they get a single to cover as Botham runs round. 43 for 1. Comes in and bowls, and Vanapura plays that one very nicely off his pads. Gets only 1 run for it. Underwood has now given away 11 runs from his 6 overs and is yet to take a wicket. And Roy Dice on 9, skipper Vanapura on 21. The game wide open and Sri Lanka consolidating their second innings, because they will be looking to a score of in the region of 225 to 250 runs at least to give their bowlers a reasonable chance of bowling out the England batsmen. And towards this end, they have already got ahead by 39. The score now is 44, having conceded a 5-run lead in the first innings. As Willis's next delivery hits Vanapura on the right shoulder. As it Here's Willis. And that's played magnificently down to third man for 4. David Garr diving to his left, couldn't get a hand to it. And those 4 runs take Sri Lanka up to 48 and Vanapura to 25.
It's Botham. Runs into Vanapura. Bowls this one. Gets some lift in that, but it steers it down to third man. Alat coming in from there. Fields. 1 run to Vanapura. Takes him on to 26 and the total to 49 for 1. And it's Vanapura facing up to Underwood. Dice marking his guard, looks around, waits for Botham. 2 helmets being placed behind the wicket-keeper. Botham bowling to 2 steps in the gully. Third man as it comes in, bowls to Dice. Dice pulls him round. It's 24 runs. A short pitch delivery. Pitched outside the line of the leg stump. Dice moving into position quickly. Swings him round for 4 runs. So that's the 50. The 50 for Sri Lanka coming in 97 minutes in the 21st over. 53 for 1. Dice goes on to 13. Vanapura, the other batsman, on 26. Botham bowling from the scoreboard end. Bowls once again to Dice. And this one, he digs it in. The fast bowler's answer to a batsman who's hit him earlier. A bouncer. .53 for 1. Roy Dice playing some very pretty shots now. Disappointed the first innings with a duck. Now 13, faces up to Botham. And this one turned away off his pads very nicely down past square leg. It's going to be a long chase there for Cook, who picks up and returns. The batsman gets through for 2 runs. The total going up to 55. And Dice moving on to 15.
Sri Lanka 61 for 1. It's Underwood bowling to Vanapura. And there he's defensively forward on the offside of the wicket. And the man raising his hand is Chris Tavare. It's probably signaling, well, he's indicating something with the helmet that's behind Bob Taylor. And anyway, the next delivery from has been swept for 4 runs. A nice stroke from skipper Vanapura there. .65 for 1, and Vanapura goes up to 30.
Underwood to Dice. Bowls on this one again. Dice drives it on the rise. A very nice looking stroke there. Alat has a long chase. They're going for the second. It's going into the boundary now. Botham, shirt billowing in the breeze, as he walks slowly back to his mark. Turns. And he bowls now to Dias. This one he digs in, and again Dias into position quickly. Pulls him around for 4 runs. That's a bouncer, and Dias was well in position, saw it early. So that's 75 for 1. And Dias now moving on to 29. A jubilant crowd waving the national flag. Certainly Dias giving them a lot to cheer up. Here's Bob Taylor about to crouch down now as Underwood bowls again. And Warnapura hits him hard and high down towards long on. Willis, who had been on the boundary line, brought up for him. And Warnapura, seeing that, takes full advantage of a flighted delivery from Underwood, punishing him for 4.
Botham is bowling this last over to before tea to Sri Lanka batsman, and as I talk to you, there's another 4, a delightful 4 from Roy Dias, playing some absolutely marvelous shots here, and the Sri Lanka score is now 93 for 1, which means that we are 88 runs ahead, and Fletcher certainly must be wondering how he is going to break this partnership. Over to Skandar.
There you are. Mevan described to you a delightful stroke that Roy Dias just executed, and Sri Lanka are now up to 93 for 1. And here's Botham's second delivery. Bowls to Dias. Dias drives him again handsomely through the offside field, and that's 4 more. Overpitched outside his off stump, and Roy Dias executing one of his characteristic cover drives. 97 for 1. Dias now on 46. What a beautiful player Roy Dias is. Botham. One can perhaps anticipate a bouncer in this delivery. No, he's pulled up and he's driven him again through the covers for 4. And that brings up Sri Lanka's 100 and Roy Dias's 50. What a magnificent batting performance. 3 consecutive boundaries of Ian Botham, who himself cannot help but applaud. Sri Lanka 101 for 1, Roy Dias 50. 89 minutes. 8 boundaries, 3 in succession of Ian Botham. And here's Botham. That's a slower delivery, and Dias very respectfully forward. Place it back along the wicket. Botham does his own fielding. Three absolutely magnificent strokes, bringing him 4 apiece, and Dias establishing his class as Sri Lanka's most outstanding batsman. Waits for Botham. Played on the onside of the wicket. John Embury, the fielder. No run. And this will be the last ball of the post-lunch session. And Botham bowling it off a shortened run. And Dias is behind that one, playing it defensively. Botham gets a boot to the ball, and so that is tea. Sri Lanka resuming after lunch at 20 without loss, have lost 1 wicket in the 2-hour session between lunch and tea. The wicket of Siddharth Vettimuni, who was bowled by Bob Billis for 9, with a score at 30, since when these 2 batsmen have been together, adding 71 runs, and with Roy Dias not out 50, a magnificent half-century compiled in 89 minutes, and skipper Warnapura on 39.
This is the 3rd over after tea. Dias has played 1 beautiful cover drive for 4 off Underwood a couple of balls ago. His 4th consecutive 4. He went off to tea having hit 3 off Botham when he raced to his 50 in 94 minutes with 8 boundaries. The score is now 107 for 1. Dias is on 55 and Warnapura on 37.
Embry turning up a lot of dust as he delivers the ball from his feet. And that one is played defensively. Cook does the fielding. Embry bowls, and Vanapura again attempts to sweep, and he's walking away. Yes, he's been given out. Bandula Vanapura not waiting for the umpire's decision there, walking as soon as he made sure that the catch had been taken clean, and Sri Lanka have lost their second wicket at 113. Vanapura attempting to swing Embry down the leg side, getting an edge onto the edge to the ball and lobbing a catch to backward short leg, and there he is walking off the field after a very fine batting performance. And here we watch the action replay. There's Vanapura going for the swing down the leg side, ball hitting bat and being taken at backward short leg, and the Sri Lankan skipper probably gone off the glove. And the Sri Lankan skipper not waiting for the umpire's decision. And there you see the J.R. Jayawardena trophy made by Mr. P.N. Nandadasa.
It's awarded for the winner of this test match or for the winners of any future series between England and Sri Lanka, Skanda. If the test match is drawn, it will be awarded to both teams.
And as we return to the cricket, it'll be John Embry to bowl to the new batsman, Dilip Mendes. $113 for 2. Here's Embry bowling to the new batsman. Mendes on the front foot, taking it on the pad. The 83-run stand between Vanapura and Dias being broken. And Dilip Mendes is new batsman. And here's Underwood's next delivery. It's played off his pads, square towards mid-wicket. John Embry is there, no run. A silly point cover, extra cover, a wide mid-off and a straight mid-off deep on the offside as Underwood bowls to Dias. And Dias drives through the offside field. It's being chased down to the boundary, and it's 4.
120 for 2, Sri Lanka, now 115 runs on. Having dismissed England for 223. And this ball from Embry. Turned round the corner, it beats Gooch's hand, they go for one, they'll turn for a second. I don't know whether they got attached to it. We'll have to wait for the umpire signal. They think about a third, but Botham picks up and returns to the bowler's end. The lovely return, and here's Embry once again. And this one, Dias back cuts this very nicely. There's a long chase there for Allett. They've taken 2, it's going to the boundary now. 4 runs. So 69 now to 69 to Dias, 127 for 2, Sri Lanka. And Embry, everybody waiting for Allett to trot back to his position at point. And Embry bowls again to Dias. And Dias drives him this time, but not too cleanly, down to mid-wicket. There are 2 more runs in that as Glover fields, no, 1 run.
There's a beautiful shot by Dias. He didn't quite get hold of it. Coming on the front foot and driving again between the 2 cover points, the backward and the square one. Tavare again doing the fielding. 2 more to Dias. 136 on the board. He goes to 76. And John Embry, who has looked more dangerous in the second innings, bowling to Mendes. Mendes, who took quite a liking to Embry's bowling,
on the English tour when the Sri Lankan side played the Test and County Cricket Board's 11 at Nottingham. And that one he pulls away straight to Botham. It'll be just a single. Here's Embry again. And Dias turns him away through the short legs for an easy single. Botham again. 138. Dias to 77.
Underwood getting ready to bowl the first ball of his new over with Sri Lanka on 140 for 2. And he's gone, he's caught behind. Yes, he's been stumped. Roy Dias walks away. The completion of a truly magnificent inning for Sri Lanka. You can hear the applause. Out for 77, and Sri Lanka are now 140 for 3. The pavilion standing to a man there. And here's Madugala taking this first delivery from Derek Underwood. There he's on the front foot. Takes it on the pad. Here's Embry. And has Mendes playing defensively. John Embry certainly has bowled very well today. He's been a trifle unlucky. He had the wicket of Wanapura. He may have had the wicket of Dias. And on a couple of occasions, the ball has gone past Graham Gooch to his right or to his left. Quite close. And here's the next one. And Mendes again attempting to turn it round the corner, takes it on the pad. His 8 overs have cost him 15 runs and he's had taken 1 wicket. And he bowls the next delivery, short, and that's been backed out down to the third man boundary. Allott is after it, but he won't catch it. No, it beats him into the line now, 4 runs. As Embry bowls his next delivery. And that's short, and Mendes swings him round. Botham is there as he feels it now. And sends it in his return. The batsman get 1. You see a part of the crowd that has seen a very good day's cricket. And Mendes goes on the back foot and gets this one past cover. He's being chased down by Tavare. They've taken 1. They're coming back for 2. And they'll get a third. Sri Lanka on 149 for 3. Dilip Mendes on 15. Ranjan Madugala yet to score.
Roy Dias early on got brilliantly scored 77, and here's Embry once again to Mendes, who pushes the vacant cover region. They're getting 1. They'll get a second. And that's the Sri Lanka 150 on the board, 151 for 3. Coming up in 250 minutes. Mendes moving up to 17. 151 for 3. Sri Lanka with about 6 to 7 minutes left for play. And here's Embry once again. Bowling to Mendes. Again, bat and pad together. Sends to Cook at short leg, no run. A good day's cricket coming to a close. As Embry bowls once again to Mendes, and this one he tucks it just past the grasping hand, and the possible catch going a begging. Gower threw himself on the ground. 1 run takes the score to 152 for 3. Sri Lanka being led by 5 runs in the first innings, with England folding up for 223, with Gower getting 79. And here's Underwood, And this one turns very sharply. And as a matter of fact, it was amusing to watch Taylor just now running across from like a little rabbit from one end of the pitch to the other to get that last over in. And it's going to be bowled by Embry now. And he bowls to Madhugalle, who is still to open the count. A good ball beats Madhugalle, goes forward. Embry bowling extremely well, certainly having all the batsmen in all sorts of trouble. And he's certainly gave us a remarkable display of good off-spin bowling. And he's got a very lovely action. That is stumps for the day with Sri Lanka on 152 for 3. Dulip Mendes is not out on 18. Madhugalle. Embry, well flighted and driven firmly past Fletcher down to the extra cover. He's been chased by Underwood, but he can't get to it. So 4 runs to Mendes. The first boundary of the morning. The total moves on to 157 for 3. Mendes moves on to 21.
Slip gully and forward short leg close to the bat. Tavare, Fletcher and Cook. Underwood from round the wicket. And that's going to be 6, I think. A beautiful shot. I think it was a 4. I think it... We'll wait for the signal from the fielder. It may be a 6. It may have just cleared the line. Yes, the umpire signaling 6. Ball flighted on the line of the leg stump. Mendes opening his shoulders. Glorious shot. 167 on the board. Mendes to 27. First 6 of the match. Underwood to Mendes. Quicker delivery with the arm.
He dropped himself.
The umpire certainly took his time before signalling 6, checking with the square leg umpire and 1 or 2 other fielders, but the 6 eventually signaled. Very fine shot by Mendes. Here's the next ball. There's Embry bowling from the scoreboard end. Underwood's figures: 32 overs, 1 for 65. Embry 19 overs, 1 for 28. Surprisingly, Willis not used this morning in an opening burst. Most of us expected to see him fire away for a few overs, because despite the wicket being slow, he hurried every batsman and worried them with his short rising deliveries. Yes, he's gone. Very simple catch indeed to forward short leg Cook. He came forward, must have got a very thin inside edge baton pad, and possibly paying the penalty for being just a little too cautious. But John Embry is bowling.
Here's the replay. Watch that. That's Embry coming in. There he goes. Edge of the crease, bowling to Madhugalle, angling it into Madhugalle, pitching it on the leg stump. As Madhugalle comes in, there he tickles it straight into the short leg fielder, who has an easy catch over there. There we are, Madhugalle out. Embry bowled that from the edge of the bowling crease into the batsman, angled the ball in and spun it off this wicket that is responding to spin. Madhugalle is out, and that brings in Arjuna Ranatunga, the left-hander.
Here's his first ball. He leaves that, but didn't cover the line enough with his front pad. And that's how he went in the first innings. Of course, the ball was coming into him from Underwood in the first innings. Here, Embry will be taking it away from him. Sweeps that down to Allott. He's off the mark. Beautiful shot.
And here's John Embry bowling to the new batsman Arjuna Ranatunga. Has gone up in the air. There's an appeal for a catch. We'll wait for the umpire's decision. Yes, he's out. Ranatunga pushing on the front foot, the ball spinning, probably going from bat to pad. We'll wait for the action replay to verify that. And Fletcher diving behind to his right, taking a very good catch. And Sri Lanka are now 5 down for 169. Let's watch the action replay.
Yes. There's the action replay. Embury once again coming in from the edge of the crease, bowls into the left-hander. Ranatunga playing forward, gets the outside edge on the bat. And that's a lovely catch being made by the England Silimidov fielder.
And here is D.S. De Silva making his way towards the wicket. Very absorbing cricket here. As the next delivery from Embury. And he tickles that one round the corner down to the backward square leg position where Ian Botham fields, and they get a single, and that brings up the 170 of Sri Lanka's innings. And also happens to be the first scoring stroke of D.S. De Silva's. He's won. Dilip Mendes is 27. And here's Underwood bowling to D.S. De Silva. And he's out, yes, bat pad. D.S. De Silva caught Fletcher, bowled Underwood for 1, and Sri Lanka have lost their 6th wicket for 170.
Let's watch the action replay. There's Underwood coming in to bowl his first ball of the 35th over to D.S. De Silva. Comes over the wicket, bowling to D.S. De Silva from the edge of the crease there again. There he stretches and bowls to D.S. De Silva. The ball pitching on that patch on the leg, just outside the leg stump. D.S. De Silva coming forward, gets the outside edge with the turn, and there it goes to Fletcher fielding at silly point. That's the mistake he made. He lunged forward and played the penalty of getting an outside edge on the turn.
The new batsman in is Asantha Dimel. As Underwood's next delivery has him playing defensively forward. Underwood turns round and asks as he gets ready to take the first delivery from John Embury's new over. Here he comes, bowls to him, and Mendes attempts to swing it round. We'll wait for the umpire signal to see if he got a touch. Gooch is after it. They'll only get 1. It's a close-in fieldsman go down, and Dimel sweeps straight down to Botham at backward square. 1 run takes him off the mark, and Sri Lanka to 172 for 6.
There's Embury to Mendes, and Mendes steps out, and this is what he rides it in there, and it's caught. Mendes losing patience, stepped out. 172 for 7, and here's the action replay. Mendes hitting it hard into there, attempt to hit him out of the grounds, but fails to do so. There's a very long boundary, and that's the new batsman in, Lalit Kalaperma. Embury once again, this one sweeps down to backward square leg, fielded by Botham. Flags fluttering bravely above the scoreboard as Embury bowls from that end. And this one, he hits it in there. Kalaperma doesn't even wait for the catch to be taken.
Let's watch the replay. There's Embury coming in to bowl to the right-handed Lalit Kalaperma. Once again bowling from the corner of the crease. There he bowls. Kalaperma trying to hit him to square leg, gets only a top edge. There's wicketkeeper Taylor coming under it to take a catch. So easy. Well under it. There it comes, watching it carefully, straight into his gloves.
Well, it's Underwood now, bowling his 37th over. Bowls to Dimel. Goes forward and is beaten off the pitch. Goes through to Taylor, no run. Sri Lankan's batsmen, to an extent, contributing to their own downfall, allowing the England bowlers to dictate terms to them, and then picking the wrong ball to hit. And here is Underwood to DeMel, down, played to defensively forward. Fletcher Fields, 173 for 8. DeMel on 2. With him now, Mahesh Gunathilaka, the new batsman, yet to open his account. Underwood, the ideal foil, the off spin of Embry. Bowls again to DeMel, again DeMel forward, defensively, played down to Gooch, fielding at gully, no run. And what looked fairly satisfactory position for Sri Lanka now changing completely, and the England bowlers right on top at the moment. And here he is, Underwood bowls to Asante DeMel, who goes forward, prods it down to Fletcher at City Point, no run. Embry with figures of 5 for 32, bowling to Gunathilaka. Again, Gunathilaka goes forward, and that one for short of Gabber. Gunathilaka waits for Embry. This one, a hurried defensive stroke picked up by Cook, no run. 173 for 8. Sri Lanka resuming at 152 for 3 this morning. And here's Embry once again. Gunathilaka turns it down past Gooch, but it goes straight down to Botham, feeding it back with square leg. Batsman get a single for it. Gunathilaka is off the mark. The total goes to 174 for 8. And this brings DeMel once again to take strike from Embry, who is bowling his 25th over. Bowling round the wicket from the scoreboard end. And DeMel hits this straight in the hands of mid-wicket. And Gower takes the simplest of catches, not having to move more than a yard to his left. And that is the 9th Sri Lankan wicket to fall, with the score at 174. And here is the action replay.
Embry again bowling the same type of delivery, and DeMel losing his concentration, jumping out, hits it straight into Gower at short mid-wicket.
There's still 45 minutes left for lunch to be taken, so and the England bowlers determined to wrap up this innings as quickly as possible. As Underwood bowls to Gunathilaka, this one a thick outside edge, runs down to cover, no run. 174 for 9, Sri Lanka, just 169 runs on. Contrast to their overnight score of 152 for 3. 22 runs added, 6 wickets lost, and here is Underwood bowling once again to Gunathilaka, who goes forward, plays it defensively. Taylor picks up, no run. A disappointing performance, to say the least, by the Sri Lankan batsman. And the England bowlers, Underwood and Embry, exploiting the weaknesses to the max fullest. And this one, Gunathilaka gets in the half volley, drives it very firmly down to mid-off, picked up by Allett. Batsman get a single. So Gunathilaka now on 2. And this brings the left-handed Ajit De Silva to take strike. The score 175 for 9. Waiting for the feed to take change over, and Taylor hands and hips. Ajit De Silva leaning on his bat, waiting for the feed to settle down. Allett being sent down to long on. 2 men deep down for Ajit De Silva, 3 men. I think it's a tremendous compliment to Ajit De Silva, number 11, to have 4 fielders posted on the fence. Right round is Underwood, bowls to him. this one. Silva takes it on the pad, goes to Cook. There is a gasp from a section of the crowd who think that Ajit De Silva got a touch to it. 175 for 9. Ajit De Silva still to open his account. Waits for Underwood. Dances down the wicket and bluffs him hard and high, and he's going to be caught. Yes, he's caught here in the outfield by Willis in a very similar fashion. A good catch by Willis. And here is a replay.
You keep going, okay?
And that is Ajit De Silva dancing down the wicket, taking on the half volley and lofting it into the mid-off region. And Willis take a good catch. So Sri Lanka all out 175.
And here's De Mel to Gooch. It's nice to see the crowd is behind the Sri Lankan side and not in their jeering fashion. And certainly the Sri Lankan side will need every bit of moral support out there in the middle. 171 runs required by England, 4 hours play left today and the whole of tomorrow. So everything in their favour. Certainly all credit to the Englishmen for a very fine display of attacking cricket this morning. Tight bowling from Underwood, beautiful off-spin bowling from John Embry. Here's De Mel again. So here we are with England chasing 171, 2 without loss. Warnapura bowling the second over. Cook turning away backward of square. Madugalla very quickly to his right, preventing the run. Well, De Mel to bowl the third over. It's 12:05. 25 minutes to lunch. He's bowling to Gooch. Ooh, a good ball indeed. Gooch going for the drive, the ball coming into him, swinging in the air, possibly seaming a bit as well. Thick inside edge to square leg for a single. And certainly if Sri Lanka can get Gooch quickly, they'll be back in the game. Because he is a very dangerous batsman indeed. Very aggressive opening batsman. And as I've said earlier, possibly one of the 3 best opening batsmen in the world. Gavaskar undoubtedly on a pinnacle. Greenwich somewhere there, and then Gooch. Here's De Mel. Loud appeal, but Cook very well forward. The ball pitching outside the off stump, and optimistic to say the least. 3 runs on the board, and large crowd present today, who no doubt came down anticipating Sri Lanka consolidating their overnight score of 147 for 3. Certainly aroused by this collapse and backing their side. Let's hope they keep their spirit through the day, because these players will need every single bit of support they can get. De Mel. And that breeze out! Full! I think that hit him on the full. A ball of Yorker length. He was shuffling across. He was right in front. We'll see that on the replay. De Mel strikes. Cook gone for no score. LBW. Here's the replay. Watch it closely. Gooch may block your view, but that hit Cook on the full. And what a morning. We're blocked there. You can't see the line of it, but to me, Cook looks very much in front, because he shuffled across, and the ball, if it didn't hit him on the full, would have bounced just by his toe. Well, Tavare on a pair, and Warnapura very much more attacking now. No third man, 3 slips in a gully, 2 short legs, and De Mel has done it again, getting Sri Lanka that breakthrough, as he has done right through this short series. That was a powerful bouncer, a little bit too short, but certainly De Mel steaming in. And Tavare, no doubt, won't be playing any drives for a long time. He'll be intent on staying there, doing his job as a solid number 3, which he has done ever since he won his England place. He's been extremely difficult to dislodge, but he hasn't had to contend with Dimel in this mood. And Dimel is really bowling quickly. Mevan?
Certainly bowling very quickly. Those two balls were very good bouncers. Tavare, who was clean bowled by Dimel, and the second ball he faced in the first innings, obviously is not very happy the way Dimel is bowling. He's bowling so fast and he looks so fierce. Anything can happen, and Dimel certainly going flat out before lunch. With 15 minutes to go, Sri Lanka obviously is trying to get a few more wickets.
Well, what a topsy-turvy game this game of cricket can be. Dimel. The end of a very fine over indeed. Cook LBW for no score. Gooch not out 2. England 1 for 3, chasing 171.
England 3 runs for 1 wicket. And that's a bad ball. And Gooch misses it too. It's a full toss. Gooch missing the flight of it. Probably disappointed with himself, as much as Ajit Silva, but he doesn't want a single. And that is the end of Ajit Silva's over. A wicket maiden. And he's taken 2 for 46 from his 16 overs. And it will probably be Asantha Dimel to continue from the scoreboard end. Yes, skipper Vanapura waiting for him. The 2 England batsmen probably planning out what they're going to do with their rest day tomorrow, the earned day of leave, as it were. Maybe a trip to Kandy or down by the sea at Bentota. It's been a good match. There's no doubt about that. A game in which the fast bowlers have had their share of wickets, the spinners their haul, the batsmen who are willing to put their head down and bat their runs. So the game has been played on what one could reasonably term a fair wicket. And here's Asantha Dimel bowling to David Gower, and he gets that one handsomely through the covers, 4 runs, and so that brings England's victory in this first official test match between the two countries. A very, very happy Keith Fletcher putting his arm round David Gower. And you see the Sri Lankan players grabbing their souvenirs and running off the field, with David Gower fittingly driving that one handsomely through the covers for 4 to take his personal score to 42. And England 171 for 3 have emerged victorious at the end